What's up guys? Back with another video today, working on the 1JZ. If you guys haven't seen the last video I posted where I actually went and picked this 1J up, I'll have it at the end of my video on the end screen, so you can just fast forward and click on that if you want to be up to date on this freaking sick engine right here. So sick. But anyways, I started tearing it down last night and tried to get this whole side, the entire intake side's tore down now. I'm gonna be refreshing this whole thing. I got gaskets for everything. I'm gonna be repainting a lot of this, like the intake manifold and this whole area through here with the coil pack cover and the valve covers and everything like that. Just sort of going like the Adam LZ route where he painted like the cast aluminum to make it look like fresh and new. I'm not gonna completely copy his color scheme, but I really like that idea of like painting it that aluminum color, so I thought that was a perfect idea. Clean it really good and then paint it. It's gonna be perfect. But before we can do that, there's obviously a lot of cleaning that still needs to be done on this JZ, because all I did yesterday was actually just get it like tore down, but you can see there's still tons of just gunk everywhere, and inside these inlets here you can see a ton of carbon. Well, maybe not like extremely, like I don't want to call it a ton, because in the world of engines I've seen worse, but definitely not perfect. I definitely want to try to get all that out of there. Intake manifold side is not quite as bad. You can see a little bit down in there. It's probably a little bit worse on the actual, I guess you call this a spacer that goes in between it. I don't know exactly what you call this. It's kind of all one piece, part of that intake manifold. But try to clean these up, get them ready for paint. Try to clean the whole rest of the block. Just try to get as much gunk off of it as I can. I'm unfortunately still waiting on the valve cover gaskets, so I don't know when I will be able to do that. They got back ordered from Japan, but until that gets here, I'm just going to try to do as much stuff on each side of the engine, and then we can do the really exciting stuff where we come in here and paint the top of the motor, which is going to be where, you know, some of the colored parts of it. I'm not gonna give away too much on what color I'm gonna do, but I'll just say that my car is gonna be blue. I'm not painting the valve cover blue or the coil pack cover blue, but it will go with blue. If you have any guesses, put them in the comments. It's gonna look really, really sick. I've already sampled the color a little bit and I know it looks freaking phenomenal. I went through like a couple different paints trying to find like the one I was envisioning, so it's gonna come out really, really sick. Definitely stay tuned for that. I know this is a video on the 1J, but for you guys that are staying up to date on my channel and know that I've been building a simulator rig, like a racing simulator rig, like from the ground up, I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of update on that. I had like a little bit of an issue with something not being quite sized right, so yeah, you'll see what happened. Basically, the steering wheel was gonna be sitting way too high, and I thought I'd already accounted for like the thickness of the actual wheel itself and where it needed to mount, but I actually didn't, so I ended up having to cut a huge section of the rig out. For you guys that saw my last video, you can probably already tell what's different, but the guys that didn't, it originally just came up through here and then had two bars that came out here and went across, and then a platform on top, and then this bar just went up straight connected to it. But basically the steering wheel was 5 inches too high, so as painful as it was, I was pretty much done with it, went to test fit it, and it wasn't right, so I had to cut this, and down here you can see where I had to cut it and grind it to make it look a little bit better, grind down the weld. But yeah, so it was really painful to do that to the rig, because I'd spent like days working on it and it was so sick, and I thought it was gonna be perfect, and everything else was perfect, like the shifter and where the seat was and everything was just so perfect, but the wheel was too high, so there's nothing I could do. I had to cut it and do something different. So it's gonna be really sick when it's done. I figured, you know, I know this isn't what you clicked on the video for, but the guys that are some of my subscribers, which 420 of you were going up. If you haven't jumped on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. That would really make me happy. But yeah, for all you guys that have seen it, I know you probably would want to see an update on that, because it's going to be really, really sick. I think the first place I'm going to start is on this super dirty intake manifold. Give you guys the before shot. On this side, you can tell it's just absolutely disgusting through here, so didn't really get to film an update on the intake manifold, but after a little bit of pressure washing and some grease remover type stuff, I was able to get it a lot cleaner. Still not completely perfect, but a lot closer to being ready to paint. coming pretty good along on the fuel rail. Got this thing relatively clean. I just started on it a second ago, so it hasn't had as much time to get some of this stuff off through here. Relatively clean. You can't really clean this too much. A lot of this is just stained. I've got some this gunk engine cleaner. Seems to be working pretty okay. Just setting it on there right now and then going over it with a wire brush, which isn't exactly ideal because it's aluminum. I didn't want to use a wire brush on it, but the gunk cleaner wasn't working quite as good as I thought it was going to, so you kind of have to hit it with a wire brush just to get some of that crap off. I'm hoping when I sand it and then paint it, if there is any marks in it from the wire brush, they'll get covered up anyways. Questions about what I use to get that cast aluminum look. I'm using this Rust-Oleum high heat. Get the one that looks like cast aluminum and more importantly isn't glossy on the top. You really want this weird sort of texture that's really similar to the cast aluminum. I'm trying to help you guys out. I know I'm gonna get it in the comments, so yeah, this is what I'm using. Those pieces are drying. I got the fuel rail out here now and I'm gonna throw the first coat of purple on it. This piece is probably definitely the one I'm most excited to throw some paint on just to see what this purple is gonna turn out to be on an actual engine part here. If the fuel rail is already looking that good with no coat, a clear coat or anything, I can't even imagine tomorrow when I go and throw like 2 or 3 layers of clear coat on top of it. It's gonna look freaking crazy. Keep in mind too, that's also the same purple color that I'm gonna be throwing on this valve cover, well not valve cover, this cold pack cover and spark plug cover, whatever you wanna call it. The purple, same exact purple, and then the accent of that purple on the fuel rail. I think it's gonna look freaking sick. So just to give you an idea of what this is gonna look like when it's all put together, man, I could not be more stoked with how all this stuff is turning out. Just imagine that, but throughout the whole engine. So the intake manifold, imagine all this stuff painted that same exact way on both sides of the engine with the purple going through it. I'm so stoked, man. I'm so stoked. Can't wait to see how this turns out and even more importantly, throw it in the car and go rip this thing one day. I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'm really stoked on all the progress that's being made on the 1J. I can't wait to finally get this thing like finished and ready to be put in the car and actually put it in the car and go drive it. It's gonna be a really awesome day to finally take that first drive. So if you like this video, make sure you drop a like down below. It'll mean a lot to me. And if you really like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you wanna see more of the JZ and all the other drift good stuff on the channel, hit that subscribe button. You know what to do. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.